In this video, I'm breaking down the worst, absolute worst times to start a business. Let's get right into it. We'll start number one with when you have a horrible work ethic. What does that mean? I define it as someone who is not capable of putting in 60 to 80 hours in his business. Meaning in making progress towards his goals, okay? Sometimes that might mean that you actually have jobs in order for you to get an income, in order for you to, pay your bills so you can work on your business. But other times it means actually working on your business. If you don't have jobs, then you should be working 60 to 80 hours every single week on your business. If you're incapable of doing that, and that could be for a variety of reasons. It might be health problems, might be relationship problems, might be addictions, might be whatever is going on in your life. It is the wrong time to start a business. You have to realize that when you're starting a business, you are literally trying to solve other people's problems. That's what a business is. Someone has a problem, there's demand, and then you supply a solution to that problem. And as a result, the person that bought something from you is now happier than they were previously because you gave them a solution to their problem. That's what business is. And so if you are not putting in a massive work ethic to first attract clients because you have a solution to their problem, you have to find them through sales and marketing. And then in addition, you have to actually deliver on your promise that what, your product and service is going to do what you said it was going to do. If you're incapable of putting in the work to make those things happen, you should not be starting a business at all. It should not even be inside your brain to even think about it, because that's the number one reason why businesses fail. You might have a huge, massive list of reasons for why businesses fail, and they say 95% of businesses fail within the first 5 years, and then after those 5 years, there's another 95%. Who cares, man? Like, if you understand that a massive work ethic is what's going to cause your business to actually succeed, if there is demand in the marketplace for that specific product, then you are going to succeed. The only question is there demand? And you find that out from market research, from talking to 1,000 people. That's all you need to do. If you know from 1,000 people that people are willing to buy this product to solve their problem at this price point, and you calculate the costs of creating that solution through the product and service, and then what they're willing to pay, and you find that there's actually profits there, and then you can find better and cheaper ways, etc., in order for you to actually provide that solution. Why would that business not work if you're putting in work? If you do the work, it will work. If you do the work, it will work. As long as you put in sufficient amount of work doing it. And very often, from my experience, is that you need to put in 1,000 to 2,000 hours of effort into rinsing and repeating the solutions for the marketplace so that people actually understand the product and service and solution you're bringing to the table, and then begin to use it, find that it's fantastic, and then they come back to you and buy again. Because that's really how business works, is that you need repeat customers. And if people don't know about your product, which means you've done a horrible job at it, you haven't put in the work to figure out how to communicate your product and service to the marketplace, or like this is how it's done. And it's only because of the work ethic that was missing that causes you to fail. Those 95% of businesses, they failed because of a lack of work ethic on the part of the founder, and that's it. And what does that mean? It means that he prioritized all of his other problems instead of prioritizing the problems of others. So, how do you change this one? The solution to this one is to make sure that you don't have a lot of problems. We all have a lot of problems, okay? It's life. It's hard, right? It's complicated. But if you have a coach who understands all of the problems that usually come in between you and success, and you can discuss with him on a daily basis, through daily text coaching, for example, which is what I do for a living, then you can actually solve these day-to-day problems in your life in such a way that you're capable of solving hundreds to 1,000 to 10,000s of people's lives as you scale over time. Why would you not be able to do that if you've got a massive work ethic? So the wrong time to start a business if you don't have a massive work ethic. And I'll put the second part of that first concept is addictions. Okay, addictions strips you of the ability to work hard. Addictions could be stimulants that causes you to get a hangover during the weekend because you were out partying. That's an addiction. If you have sex addiction, that happens too, where you basically are going around chasing tail, which causes you to diversify in such a way that 30 to 40% of your mind is out there trying to get poon, while you're trying to work on your business 60 to 70% of the time. And that remaining 30 to 40% of the time that you could have put in your business, but you're putting it instead for chasing tail, that's that little part, the extra in ordinary, that would cause your business to become extraordinary. But you'll never get there because you're actually addicted to something that causes you to be diversified, not focused, causing you therefore to not be able to get that exponential growth curve and momentum that you needed in your business. I wish you'd understand this, because a lot of you guys are addicted. How do you get rid of the addiction? The way to get rid of the addiction is to get jobs and then keep those jobs. You see, you'll struggle to keep 3 jobs if you've got addictions. But guess what? It's going to be painful. It's going to come to a point where you have to make a decision that these addictions, these problems that I've got in my life got to go. Because if I started a business having these things, it wouldn't amount to anything. You might be lucky, okay, but it's not going to last long term. You're going to be like this, okay, and then eventually this, if you've got addictions, even though you might be making a lot of money right now. It don't matter. The truth always catches up with you. The system is not designed in such a way that everyone should have a lot of money at all times. The only reason for that is because of this massive debt bubble that we've got going on that's about to be pricked, right? And that's going to, burst, and suddenly we're going to see who's got addictions and who don't have addictions, right? Because the people that do have addictions, they're going to get into a very negative spiral, a death spiral, if you will, where they had success and then it was taken away from them because of the lack of work ethic and the addictions that they had in their lives. The solution? Get jobs. Yeah, I know. As a business owner, you don't want to get a job, do you? But guess what? That's the only way you get out of an addiction, because if you've got all the time in the world because you're making money from your business, then you have no responsibility and you're just gonna be sucked into your addiction again. This is why one of the huge reasons why I advocate towards getting jobs, to solve your life equation, to get out of addiction, to get the work ethic, to get obsessed about your freedom, to get obsessed about serving the people, to get obsessed about personal development and not be, bogged down by the issues that you've got from your childhood, right? Let's get rid of them. The more pressure and stress you put on your body, you have to resolve the mental barriers that you've got. And that's a good thing. But you've got to do it gradually. It can't be just, hammered on you to the point where you don't want to do anything and get burnt out, right? You got to do things right. So, number 2, if you're prioritizing school, this is a horrible time to build a business. Understand this concept. There are people out there who are like, well, I'm going to school and I've got a part-time job and then I'm also starting, a business. What? Why are you starting a business if you think that you need a degree in order for you to have something to fall back on? You understand that those two mindsets are completely opposites to each other. You're going to school and then you're trying to build a business on the side that's going to give you financial freedom. School is designed to give you a job after a 3 to 5 year degree. A business is designed to create jobs so you'll never need one. So your only job is to make sure that people are doing their job. Which one would you rather have? Everyone would say, well, I'd rather have a business, but then your actions speak louder than your words because you're literally prioritizing school. What's up with that? Okay, this is the worst time to start a business, when you do not understand yourself and the contradictions that are going on in your brain. You are being... you're not being an oxymoron, but the situation is an oxymoron. Okay? The fact that you are prioritizing school. Now, there are tons of billionaires, okay, that were in school and then started their business and then dropped out of school. Now, I don't see any problem with that because they weren't really in school at all. Okay, Mr. B, Steve Jobs, right? Elon Musk, there's all of these guys that I could mention that did go to school, but trust me, why did they drop out? They dropped out because of business. And they realized that freaking hell, I didn't know that it was going to be such a waste of time at this college campus. And you know how I know? I went to school too. Okay? If you ask all of those guys that dropped out of school, if they would have entered school that first day of school, you think that no, they would have said, I would have said, screw school, I'm going to build my business, because they wasted hours and hours and hours and days and weeks maybe and years in my case going to school when it was for naught. It was for nothing. It was ridiculous. Do not start a business if you think you got to prioritize school. That's number 2. Number 3 is when you're doing it with a loan. There's no reason to start a business if you think that you need a loan to start it. You do not need a loan to start it. I started a business that became successful from a loan, okay? I borrowed $7,000 from the bank in order for me to start an Airbnb. I needed the deposit in order for me to, start this Airbnb arbitrage. I didn't even freaking know that there was a name for it, and it probably wasn't at the time because I was doing this way back in 2016 when no one else was doing this, okay? Back then, I did that, took up the loan, and yes, the business eventually succeeded, but I was in minus for quite some time, right? Like, the loan was not necessary. Maybe it was at the time, but oh my gosh, like, I did so many mistakes in my early days that caused my success curve to be slowed down dramatically. So if I was to go all the way back and do things again, I wouldn't be taking up any loans because it's not necessary in this day and age. If you are thinking you need a loan to start a business, you're starting the wrong business. And I kind of feel it's the same thing when it comes to funding as well. Because there's a lot of guys that believe that they need funding for their business. If it's your first business, well, maybe we'll hold this for another video, but like, you shouldn't need money to start a business in the 21st century, okay? 2024, there's so many different ways for you to start a business that doesn't require a loan, because you can sell something to someone and then fulfill the order after they've bought it for you by buying it somewhere else. Okay, there are ways to go about doing that. You created the solution, you found the solution to the problem, and then you gave them the solution after they paid. Like, there's so many different ways to go about this. It's just the wrong timing. If you think you need a loan, you think you need money to start a business, it's the wrong time in your life to start a business. And I would also say if you have lack of cash flow, like if you don't have money coming in on a continual basis, it's also the very, very, very wrong time to start a business. Just don't do it, okay? There are other priorities that need to be laid in place first. And I would say the number one priority to get ready is to hire a coach. Well, how do you do that? By having some cash flow. It costs money to get expertise and professionals to help you to structure your life in such a way that you can succeed in business. Thank you. You're welcome. All right. And the last one, this one could be debated, but I think that the worst time to start a business is during the last part of before a recession. Okay? To start a business right at the last part before a recession, before the debt bubble bursts. And let me explain what I mean by that. I think we're kind of at that time right now where the stock market is kind of like, it should have completely crashed 2 years ago and didn't. And people are now wondering like, hey, what's up? Like, is it gonna happen? Will it ever happen? It's like, yeah, okay. So people are beginning to think that it's not coming and that's why it's gonna come, okay? So the wrong time to start a business is that time, and the reason why, I'll tell you, is only because of your lack of experience and lack of expertise of knowing how that looks like, How does a recession look like? Most people that are starting a business have no idea how businesses work and how incomes are affected by a recession. And as a result, they shouldn't be starting a business because they go into that business believing that things are always going to look the same way as they are doing right now, right? So if it's easy to make cash flow from your business right now, it might not be like that in 6 months, 12 months, 2 years' time. And if you thought in your mind that it's always going to be this easy when there's tons of money, right? Because there's going to come a time when there's a massive crash, and then that's going to be prolonged just enough for people to go completely and utterly broke. And then there's an exponential growth curve of inflation, double-digit numbers, and then eventually hyperinflation that's going to happen, right? In all economies. And when that happens, and you've just been stripped of all of your cash, and you're completely and utterly bankrupt, so you don't participate on the asset growth in the hyperinflationary, times, oh my gosh, you're screwed. You're screwed. And but it's only because of the lack of understanding and the wrong expectations that you have that this market is probably going to continue long term. It's not. If it's at the very end before a recession starts, because you won't be prepared and ready for it. Now, after having watched this video, you will be better prepared and you understand that, oh my gosh, I need to actually be a bit careful with my expenses and I need to be wise about which business I build, because is this business that I'm building going to be recession proof? Like, I don't know. Like, maybe I should talk to a coach about that. Exactly. Okay, so these are the 4 times that it's a horrible time to start a business if you don't have an understanding of these concepts. Make sure you discuss this with professionals or with your mentor, whoever that is, or whoever is your business partner, I don't know, right? Get things right in your life and things will become amazing for you long term. And no matter what, the worst time to start something might be also the best time to start something. I'm just mentioning this at the end, as long as you don't quit. Because all experiences will be for your good long term, right? And for those of you who actually finished to the end of the video, you get to hear this part. This is the secret, right? At the end of it, letting you know that if you keep going, you will succeed. And all of the failures and all of the issues of the past are going to be for your good. And that's all you need to know. But at the same time, be wise about timing, because timing is everything. If you might be forced to stop completely to build this specific business because you ran out of cash flow and out of options at a time when you should have had tons of options. So hope that makes sense for you guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe and like. I'll see you guys in the next one. And of course, DM me on Instagram, bro. I'll talk to you. I promise.